Thanks for joining us. I'm Tamika Alexander. We begin tonight with the continued investigation in the homicide of 73-year-old Kate Ragsdale. While there are still no official suspects in the case, Tuscaloosa police have released new information on who they believe who is responsible for the crime. With more on these latest developments, WVUA's Victoria Sheehan joins us now in the studio and has more in tonight's top story.
Thanks, Tamika. A criminal profile has been released by homicide investigators today. In it, the profile reveals that the suspect may likely live close to Ragdale's home and describes the person as possibly being young in age. Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit Captain Lloyd Baker says they have met with a retired FBI agent and former criminal profiler. Based on the crime scene, initial analysis indicates the suspect is, quote, likely young in age and lived in close proximity to Ragsdale's residence. They also say it's likely the suspect walked to and from the crime scene and was familiar with this location. Investigators also believe this person is likely one who hasn't had a long criminal history because the criminal's, quote, lack of sophistication in the crime indicates that this may be one of his first crimes. Baker is asking to be wary of those displaying tremendous behavior changes in the days following this event. He says these behavior changes will be obvious to peers, friends, and family.
The main point of this whole profile that I want to emphasize is the post-event behavior change. We strongly believe that whoever did this is displaying behavior that is indicative of extreme duress.
Now, Baker says investigators continue to canvass the area and video surveillance is also being collected and analyzed. But authorities can still use any piece of information in this case. You can make a confidential call to Crime Stoppers at 205-752-STOP. Tamika.
After the shooting death of a South Alabama student back in October, the grand jury in the case decided it will not charge the campus police officer involved. The decision to clear the officer, Travis Austin, was made earlier today. The grand jury says surveillance video proves Austin was justified in shooting University of South Alabama student Gil Collar. Collar was naked and banging on a window at a campus police station. Austin says the student was acting erratically and lunged toward him. A toxicology report says Collar ingested a chemical substance similar to LSD. Many U.S. congressmen are in Tuscaloosa remembering the 50th anniversary of George Wallace's stand in the schoolhouse door. Alabama President Dr. Judy Bonner led the ceremonies, which featured Vivian Malone Jones's sister, Dr. Sharon Malone, along with former Alabama Governor George Wallace's daughter, Peggy Wallace Kennedy. Many at this event reflected on the iconic moment during the Civil Rights Movement and talked about the impact it had on them in 1963 and the impact that moment continues to have in the present day.
You can see it on television. In 1963, when I was only 23 years old, but you can come here and I just felt like reaching out, touching the doors, but it was so sacred and so special, I refused to touch.
She studied in the harsh glow of spotlight that was focused not on perhaps catching her successes, but hoping to document her missteps. Yet she succeeded when many people in the state would have been happier to see her fail.
Vice President Joe Biden will be in Selma Sunday to commemorate Bloody Sunday and the march over the Edmund Pettus Bridge. WVUA will be there and we will take you to the event Sunday on the news at 10. Today is the 6-year mark since a deadly tornado tore through Enterprise, Alabama. The EF3 tornado took the lives of 8 students at Enterprise High School. A collapsed roof trapped many other students inside a hallway. The path of the storm was 200 yards wide and 10 miles long. Many were injured and several homes in the area were damaged. 19 volunteers are headed back to Ohio tomorrow after a week-long mission trip here in West Alabama. This is their second trip to Tuscaloosa following the April 27th tornado. The volunteer group was partnered with Compassion Coalition, who led them to Reverend Ballard's and one other tornado-damaged home. Reverend Ballard's house suffered severe damage from the April 27th tornado and has yet to be restored to its original living conditions. With the help of these volunteers, Reverend Ballard and his wife now have a roof over their heads. One volunteer says being surrounded by good company makes the hard work a lot easier.
It's been a lot of work, but just being with everybody from the team, it's a phenomenal group of people to work with. Everybody just loves being a part of this, and being together and seeing the fruits of our labor this week, that is the best part of my week.
Switching gears to the weather, let's get a first check on Alabama's home team forecast. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott joins us now. Hey, Richard, and happy Friday. Chilly night out there tonight, though.
Yeah, cold out there and a good Friday evening. Even a little snow showing up on the radar right now, some of that over southern Talladega County. More snow showers happening over North Alabama. The closer to the radar site you get in Columbus, the more you will likely see on the snow there. That's why it looks like kind of a ring of snow around the Columbus radar site. But again, some of this snow's working southeast. It's having a tough time reaching I-20, but that will likely occur later on tonight. We have that winter weather advisory tonight through lunch. Tomorrow, 39 now in Tuscaloosa. The temperatures still above freezing at this hour, but we'll likely notice those temperatures drop through tonight. And early tomorrow, snow showers are likely through about lunch, and then we'll dry up through the afternoon hours. Temperatures top out in the low 40s. Going to be a cold start to the weekend. And when will the snow move out, and what about more rain chance to talk about down the road? Your forecast is coming up.
There's still no sign of a missing elderly Northport man, and police need your help. 89-year-old Luvert Richardson has been missing since February 13th. Police say he was last seen by a relative at his home. According to authorities, Richardson suffers from dementia and is on daily medication. He is described as a black male with light complexion, 5 feet 11 inches tall, 170 pounds, with brown eyes and gray hair. Authorities say if you find him, do not approach him. Instead, call Northport Police at the number there on your screen, 205-339-6600. A last-minute change in the state school flexibility bill is causing a big stir. According to some representatives, the original bill was 10 pages and focused on teacher tenure. That original bill passed the House and went to the Senate for a vote last night. But within an hour before the vote, the bill was presented as 27 pages and included additions like a tax credit for parents who move their child from a failing school zone to a private school, and tax credits for businesses who donate scholarship money. Senators who had not been aware of the additions were given 1 hour to read the new version of the bill before they had to vote. State School Superintendent Tommy Bice says he was not aware of the changes and the new bill is not what he agreed to support. Representative Christopher England says what happened last night is a scary breach of faith in our state's capital.
The sad thing is last night there were certain members of the House, and I'm pretty sure in the Senate, that voted for a bill that fundamentally changed education in Alabama without even reading it first. And the sad thing is it was intentionally designed to do that. So you didn't have an opportunity to read it. You didn't have an opportunity to hear from your constituents. And from what I'm understanding, the governor said the reason why they did it this way is because people were going to disagree. But I thought that's what democracy was.
Governor Bentley says he was willing to push the bill because there had been no motivation to turn around the state's failing schools. Some of the mail that is delivered to your home every day contains valuable information. Documents such as credit card statements, receipts, and insurance reports contain enough information to put the safety of your identity at risk. However, what you probably didn't know is even junk mail is too valuable to throw away in the garbage. Document specialist Trey Perdue says even junk mail contains enough information for someone to steal your identity.
We all get numerous amounts of credit card applications, different types of credit applications, and those will have enough stats on it that somebody can pose to fill it out and send it back in as if they were you.
The good news is you can shred your important documents tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. at Tuscaloosa Chevrolet. The event ends at noon and is completely free. Today, after weeks of inaction from Congress, forced spending cuts could take effect. $85 billion could be cut in areas such as the Defense Department, and local air controllers could possibly lose their jobs. In Dothan, city officials canceled an economic development announcement on industry and job growth at the Dothan Regional Airport. That is because the airport's tower is expected to close on April 1st if a deal is not reached. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel says talks to us about the possible cuts.
I know that these budget cuts will cause pain, particularly among our civilian workforce and their families. I'm also concerned, as we all are, about the impact on readiness
on this vote, the yeas
that these cuts will have across
and the
our
nays
force.
are 49.
The federal spending reductions will begin at midnight. Now to Macon County, where the Alabama Supreme Court says gambling machines seized at Victory Land Casino are not bingo machines. Earlier this month, Victory Land was raided by the Attorney General's office, and hundreds of gambling machines and cars was removed from what used to be the state's largest casino. Macon County Circuit Court Judge Tom Young initially refused to give the Attorney General a search warrant, but the AG's office appealed to the state Supreme Court. The court says Young was wrong, and there is a fair probability the machines in question are not bingo, but instead are slot machines that are illegal under Alabama law. A Florida man is missing after a sinkhole suddenly opened under his bedroom at his home in Tampa and swallowed him up. A fire official says the man called out to his brother for help, but his brother was unable to save him. The man is presumed dead after monitoring equipment lowered by engineers detected no signs of life. The victim's brother, Jeremy Bush, describes what happened early this morning.
He was laying down in bed. We just got home from work. I have a second job. I went to work, came home at 10 o'clock. And
what did you hear?
We left and came back, and I knocked on his door and told him that we wasn't working today. So he said okay and everything, and I went in my room. I heard a loud crash like a car coming through the house, and I heard my brother screaming. So I ran back there and tried going inside his room, but my old lady turned the light on, and all I seen was this big hole, real big hole, and all I seen was his mattress, and basically that was it. That's all I seen.
You tried jumping in after him?
Yes, I jumped in the hole and was trying to dig him out. I couldn't find him. I thought I could hear him hollering for me to help him.
It's still too dangerous for search crews to go into the hole. Authorities say they worry the hole is still growing and that the house could collapse at any time. They also have evacuated nearby